What's up, everybody? It is another edition of Everything Phoenix YouTube Live. We're going to dive into all the best information on the housing market here for Phoenix, Arizona, and the prediction of the second half here. Now we're just past the second half of 2023, but what's the prediction? What's the housing market going to do? How can you set yourself up for the best success for the second half of 2023? And then development. We have to talk development because Phoenix has a lot going for it. I was talking to someone else just the other day who lives out of state, and like, man, Phoenix has a ton. All I hear about is companies going down there, moving parts of their companies down to Phoenix. What do you guys got going on in there? And you know, it's a very business friendly state in many different ways. So we're going to cover some of those aspects as well. Tourism is up, which is a good thing for our economy because that's a big portion of our economy as well. And what's up with the grass ordinance with the city of Scottsdale? That's interesting too. So we're going to dive into that. But let's dive into the topic here of the second half market prediction because this is interesting with some good data, by the way. And guys, if you don't mind, just go ahead and subscribe and hit that button. Like us if you don't mind. Not and you don't have to like me, but like us maybe. I don't know. Or you could even comment. Danny Christie already commented here, and I appreciate Danny. What's going on? Can't wait to see this. Hey, thank you very much for hopping in here. And then, of course, I love the fact because you said you're from watching us from the United Kingdom. It's got to be what, about 8 hours, I think, ahead of us. So you're up late, Danny. Thank you very much for doing that and sticking around for us here. I really appreciate it. So let's jump in. I'm going to share my screen and make this action packed for 30 minutes like we usually do. So I know your time is valuable. You can be in, be out. Hopefully you'll stay with us for the entire time because at the end I got some good information, always some cool mom and pop information, some cool things going on here about that as well at the end. So here we go, guys. There's my screen. You know I got to start with some Cromford information because it's the best out there, local information for Phoenix on a micro basis. And of course, they can break down everything, guys. And so part of this prediction of where the market's going to go may be not so sexy, right? Because it might just be, I don't say anticlimactic because you probably have your guesses of what's going to happen, but I'm going to share with you the data, what it's suggesting from that standpoint. And then, of course, you can figure out if that's going to be too exciting or not for yourself. But here we go. You see right here, this is done about a week ago almost, but you see where the suburbs, the major suburbs around Phoenix actually stand with the CMI, the Cromford Market Index. And remember, guys, a balanced Cromford market is 90 through 110. Below 90 is a buyer's market. Above 110, it's a seller's market. If it's between 90 and 110, it is balanced. And so that's what we're shooting for. Now, when you look at this chart based on that, you can see that Chandler's killing it. But there has been some improvement for buyers because some of these towns have starting to decrease in terms of their change of depreciation or appreciation, right? So there you go. That's good news for the buyers that are out there. Now, when it comes to supply, here's what I want to show you guys. All right. This is an interesting graphic. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to read this for you, but look at the visual here. I'm a visual person, right? You can see the different colors. So blue is 21, the green is 22, and of course the purple or whatever here is 23. So you can see supply. Why does this matter? Because guys, nobody wants to talk about supply. They always want to talk about demand. The media wants to talk about demand. It's sexy, I guess, right? Is it up? Is it down? Are people buying? Are they not? Okay, I get it. It sells advertising. But there's no advertisers on YouTube live here with Everything Phoenix, right? We're just giving you the raw data. And what that data suggests is that supply is playing a huge role. And I've been talking about this for a while, and I will continue to do so as long as it plays the role. But supply is playing a huge role. And you can see right here where the supply currently stands. You saw what it did last year. What was the second half of 2022 like? Not so good. Why? Supply got out of control. Demand went way down. And I shouldn't say out of control. I mean, wasn't that many homes in the market, but it did go up significantly. And demand went way down. And that was part of the problem. So that being said, I want to show this interactive map here and overlay this. Now, it's the same map. This one's interactive. The same graph, I should say, right? Now, no one out there that I'm talking to out there really believes that 2019 wasn't shaping up, or I should say 2023 is not shaping up to be a lot like 2019, because it is. 2019 was a good market by all intents and purposes by most people or experts, if you will, for Arizona. It was an appreciating market, but a slower appreciating market before COVID came into existence and kind of threw everything out of whack. And so, if we could have a 10-year run of years like 2019, I think all of us would be pretty happy, even buyers. Why? Because everybody loves a market that appreciates a little bit. Why? Because sellers like it because the values go up. Buyers like it because they can jump in and still have appreciation after they jump in the game. Nobody likes buying in a decelerating market, even buyers. That's right, even buyers. Because who likes catching a falling knife? That hurts. Nobody does, right? So, do I wait? Do I keep waiting? Is it going to go down further? No, it's a big guessing game. So, a softly appreciating market would be great, and that's what 2019 kind of was for Phoenix. Now, let's look at this. I'm going to overlay 2019 right here on the supply map. Here we go. Boom. Light green. Now, does 2019 so far look eerily similar to where we stand with 2023, this purple line? My goodness. Look at that. So I'm not saying, because I don't have a crystal ball, right? But I study data, and a lot of other people that are smarter than me, I study them because success leaves clues. And if 2023 is shaping up to be like this so far, and 2019 was a good market, look at 2019 did. It flattened out, okay? And then it kind of zigzags a little bit towards the end of the year, and then it gets rock and rolling in January with supply, because everybody wants to wait till after Christmas, right, to put their house on the market. And that's a whole another YouTube live I could talk about for a half an hour, which maybe I will towards the end of the year, because I have some really good thoughts on that, and experience doing this 18 years right here in the Phoenix area. So look at this, guys. I think you're going to see the prediction in terms of supply is that we're going to see probably a lot of this with 2023 doing what 2019 does, and not just because 2019 has shaped up to be very much so like 2023 has so far, but also because inflation is actually going down across the country. And let's see here. Let's see if I can find the article. I'm going to show you guys. It cools, but still higher than the national average. Okay, so look, Phoenix was one of the cities that had higher inflation across the country. You can see right here, cost for all food in Phoenix area rose 6.8% over last year, with groceries rising 4.9%. Okay, so let's go. Phoenix area inflation has cooled since its peak last summer, but the region's 4.4% increase since last June is still higher than the national average of 3% over that same time period. All right, so a big reason is housing. That sort of thing. Now, the Federal Reserve, they're trying to get their inflation down to a core index of 2%, and it's heading that way, which is a good news, guys. It's very good news overall. But Phoenix had higher inflation. Look at their inflation fell from a peak of 13% last August, guys. Inflation in Phoenix alone was 13%. Wow. Okay, so it's down significantly from that. But the inflation obviously is still a little bit higher than the national average, but it's going down. And so that's another reason why, going back to this graph right here, I do believe that you're going to see this starting to flatten out with supply through through the rest of 2023. Now, if that happens and demand stays around the current level it's at, which is decent but not great, because rates are at 7%, right, plus or minus, that's going to cause this market to be a fairly decent market for the second half of this year. Does that mean that you need to jump in and buy right now? No. Does that mean you jump in and sell right now? No, it doesn't. You're going to have some opportunity to do both throughout the rest of this year, in my opinion. I do think when 2024 hits, it's shaping up to look like rates are probably going to start coming down a little bit at that time, maybe not until then. And when that happens, you're going to see this pent-up demand start to occur, guys. And so I think there's a good window right here in the second half of 2023, if you're looking to potentially buy a house or some piece of property in Phoenix, that you can take advantage and get in before it does probably run most likely in 2024. That's kind of where I'm at on this. So, call us. We'd love to walk you through your specific zip code you're looking at, your city you're looking at, your suburb, and we can advise you on what's best for you from our opinion, knowing your story. But at the end of the day, I think you have a window here, a good opportunity. Now, if rates, because here's the thing, if you secure a property at today's price, okay, you can always obviously refinance, assuming rates do go down. That's a big assumption. We don't know, right? No one knows, but that's what the economic experts are looking at looking like it's going to happen. A big reason why is because rates, guys, rates are the number one thing the Fed does to fight inflation, right? Okay, we all know that. Well, if inflation continues to curtail and go down, and the year-over-year reports from 22 to 23 get better every single month, which right now at this point they're looking like they're going to, because what did inflation do in 2022? Second half went up. So if it's decreasing, it's going to be a better report year over year. That's going to create the cause the markets to obviously do something. The kicker, in my opinion, is going to be the unemployment rate, because the Fed is trying their hardest to get this unemployment rate to go up, and it's just not moving a whole lot. And we can debate, obviously, how they rank that and get those numbers on the unemployment rate from the government, but it hasn't gone up a lot. And so if the unemployment rate went up a little bit, starting to trend upward, that would give even more confidence to the Fed to hopefully bring rates down as we head into 2024. We'll see what happens there. Hey, Danny, what's going on? Thanks for commenting again. Hey, mate, I love that. Thanks for the advice about Arizona. I'm Danny from UK, Manchester. Hey, are you a Man U fan? I'm a Man U fan. I mean, I'm not, I don't watch a ton of European Premier League, but I do like sports. So UK, Manchester, I want to come with my girlfriend, but we don't want somewhere clubby. Where would you recommend? Okay. Well, I love Scottsdale, Danny. Love Scottsdale. Now, if you don't want clubby, stay away from Old Town Scottsdale. You can drive in there, maybe have some nice dining, that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of clubs down there. I wouldn't go to Old Town Scottsdale if you don't want clubby, but Central Scottsdale to North Scottsdale without going too far north. If you go too far north, then it's going to be really low key, but maybe you want that. If you want that, go north. It's very nice. Paradise Valley is amazing. There's a lot of resorts around there that are not clubby. The one place you really just want to make sure you obviously don't be an epicenter of is Old Town Scottsdale, because there's a lot of cool clubs there. Now, downtown Chandler, Arizona, downtown Gilbert are amazing, little quaint, good restaurants, newer, redeveloped, small little downtowns of these suburbs. Amazing places to go and check out and grab a coffee or a beer or a dinner, whatever case may be. And then, over on the West Valley, you have some good places too around the Westgate area. Some good dining over there. There's a huge casino there if you like to gamble a little bit. And so you can check that out too as well in the Glendale area. So hopefully that helps, Danny. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate it. Okay, guys, now we're going to jump back in here regarding my rant on the second half prediction, and we're going to switch gears. That's right. We're going to switch gears. We're going to go into some things about what's happening in Phoenix. Okay. So right now, oops, wrong screen. Here we go. Arizona moves higher in CNBC's top states for business rankings. Why is this important? This is important because what follows businesses moving to an area? Jobs. What follows job creation? Income. What follows income? The ability for people to afford housing, and so on and so forth. This big domino effect, right? And it's all good stuff if you get that first one kind of going, which is getting businesses to move to a certain state, because a lot of things come from that. Well, we now are ranked 14th in the country. All right, that's pretty good. That's definitely not bad. And we've increased from being ranked 34 in 2022. That's a really big jump. The state's ranking was buoyed more than anything by its strong grade in the workforce category, where Arizona was ranked number 3 in the nation after ranking number 7 last year in the workforce category. That's good news. Okay. The report noted that May 2023, Arizona had an unemployment rate of only 3.4% and saw GDP growth at 2.7 in the first quarter. Now, here's some grades really quick. I'm going to go through this really fast. I'm not going to go through this whole article, but here you go. The next highest grade for Arizona was the infrastructure category, where it received a B+ and ranked number 7. Okay. Then we have number 41 last year to number 17 in the category of access to capital. All right, number 17, C+ grade. All right, and then we got another grade, and we got D+. This is not good, right? It's improving, but it's a D+. It jumped 15 points from 50 to number 35 in life, health, and inclusion category. That's kind of general. I'm not sure exactly all what that includes, but we jumped up. We're going in the right direction. That's good. Okay, and its worst grade was a D-. Okay, Arizona got a D- in the cost of living category. And what spurs most of that? Rental rates and housing affordability. Ooh, now we dropped from 33 to number 40 in that metric. So there's 10 states worse than us in cost of living, specifically to the housing category. But they analyzed over 86 metrics across 10 categories from all kinds of different data points. And overall, Arizona got a B grade for business friendliness. That's good. A B minus in technology and innovation, a C plus in the economy, and a C in education, and a C minus in the cost of doing business. Leading the nation was North Carolina, and then you had Virginia, Tennessee, Georgia, and Minnesota. All right, so guys, we're 14. Arizona's a good place to be, but workforce category number 3, that's good. Okay, and a lot of good grades there. Obviously, you're not going to get A's across the board unless you're me in high school. Just kidding. Well, I mean, I was a pretty good student actually, but anyways. So what else we have? We have inflation. We got that. I'm gonna talk about tourism really quick. Okay, tourism in Phoenix is surging. That's good. We won't spend a lot of time in here. There's a lovely Grand Canyon, one of the wonders of the world. It's amazing. All right, so visitors spend more than $28 billion in tourism in 2022, one of the best years ever in Arizona. That is good stuff. And there's tax revenue. Look at this. Overall tax revenue of tourism increased 17.1% in 2022 as well. So that's really, really good. Okay. While most of the numbers were up in the report, 2022 saw record inflation, and the Arizona Department of Tourism acknowledged that because this purchasing power of the dollar was weakening in 2022, the year's spending numbers were somewhat inflated, but still better than 2021. So tourism, that's good stuff, guys. All right, so keep it coming, guys. Social media, a big reason. Obviously, we do YouTube lives like this, and people post on Instagram and all kinds of places, right? TikTok, whatever. And so that's helping drive people's decision making to come visit Arizona. What a concept! Who'd have thought? All right, Phoenix Metro office rents tick up amid negative absorption in the market. Now, this is interesting, guys, because have you heard of this commercial real estate potential bust coming up, right? A problem, a bubble in the lending side. It's out there. We've talked about it. We're going to keep talking about it. But is it true everywhere you go? Well, this is interesting. And even the experts, as you'll see on this article, they can't even agree on it. Watch this. Okay, now this is a lovely glass State Farm building with Carvana as well, overlooking Tempe Town Lake. It's a beautiful setting, right? Just don't swim in Tempe Town Lake. It's not the best to do that. I did a couple times in the Ironman stuff, and it's you can't even see your hand in front of your face. It's a little murky. All right, so here we go. The net absorption rates in Valley Market seem to be inching closer to a state of equilibrium. And then, of course, the second quarter came, and second quarter said they have a net negative absorption of 1.1 million square feet of office space. All right. So what does that mean? Well, we don't know. We don't know. Now they know, they have ideas, right? But the reason why I say that is because one of the experts down here, what did he say? He says it's a conundrum, basically, right? It's an anomaly that, quite honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen before. I'm watching more vacancy, more weakness in the market, but I'm watching Class A rents go up, said David, whatever his name is, Genovese, the managing director at Avison Young. It usually does not work like that. It's kind of indicative of the fact that we're creating some new normals. So you have companies that are trying to figure out what they want to do long term, or at least in the short term, I guess I should say, regarding the policy of being in the office, not being in the office, a hybrid, whatever it may be. And so do they sign these long-term 5-year leases or 10-year leases or even longer on office space, these big square footage buildings? But the reality is the reason why this negative absorption is happening is because you have so much subleasing that is occurring right now. Carvana just dumped a bunch of their square footage on a sublease this past year, and other companies are doing the same. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the office space. But what the bubble everyone's talking about is on the financing side, right? Will these loans come due and no one able to pay them? And they're big loans, right? Big buildings. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But overall, Q2 was not good for Phoenix office rent, but Class A, very good as they're going up. In fact, if you want the numbers here you go real quick, guys. On average, right now you're seeing between Class A, B, and C properties, the figure was between $29 and $31 a foot. Okay. Desirable Class A space on average had an asking rate north of $34 a foot, up to $39 per foot. So that's pretty darn healthy, especially when you're not in New York City or Chicago downtown, that sort of thing, right? So here we go. Another one here we're going to move over to is a new development in Old Town Scottsdale. Speaking of which, right, I was talking to Danny about that. Some clubbing. Well, this is a new development that's going to happen here on the southeast corner, one of the most coveted corners in all of Scottsdale at the intersection of Scottsdale Road and Camelback Road. And this is what's proposed to go in there by Stockdale Capital Partners, which would be, I mean, amazing. Look at this. They work with a guy from South Africa on all the art. It's going to be spectacular. Now, I pulled the map up because I like to give you some sort of point of reference sometimes when it comes to, what we're talking about in these places. Well, here's Scottsdale. There's Phoenix downtown, right? Here's Sky Harbor Airport right here. And here's Scottsdale. And there's the boundaries with those red dots. Okay, very long, very skinny, not terribly wide. But if you go down to Old Town Scottsdale right here, okay, you have Indian School Road right here. You have Camelback right here. There's the intersection. I'm going to zoom in. You have the Fashion Square, which is one of the best malls in the entire country, with some really good shopping and good tenants and places to shop there. Right here, there is the square. That's the area by the W. There's W Scottsdale right there. This area here is where that proposed building is set to go. And wow, it's going to be special. I don't know if they have a name for it yet. Oh, phase 2 of the Scottsdale Collective Project. I don't know. So anyways, Scottsdale City Center. There it is. Plans for the Scottsdale City Center, which is phase 2 of a mixed-use development for Old Town Scottsdale. And you can see there's the plan. And then over here, you have a little bit of the renderings. Let me show you these real quick if you don't mind, because it's awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. Richard, thank you very much. I'm over here just talking about the map here, guys, and you can't even see my screen. Thank you for saying that, Richard. You know what? I'm going to just make sure you guys are paying attention. I'm going to start doing that on purpose from here on out. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But thank you, Richard, for letting me know. I appreciate it. Here's the thumbnails, guys, of this project that's going on the corner of Scottsdale Road and Camelback. So there it is. Boom, boom. Scottsdale City Center. It's going to be pretty sweet. It's going to be a huge sticker price. But that map I was showing you, Richard, is right here. There's the square. You can see by the W Scottsdale, the corner of Scottsdale and Camelback. Let me zoom out so you get an idea from a macro where this is. There's downtown Phoenix. There's Sky Harbor right here. And there's Scottsdale. And then you zoom into Old Town Scottsdale where all the fun happens. And then you have this plot right here. So that's going to be really cool. Again, you have the waterfront. This is the waterfront, this canal. Only in the desert do you call this waterfront, right? But technically there's water and you're on the front. So there you go. Then you have all kinds of, down here in Old Town Scottsdale, guys, you have all kinds of just clubs and really amazing dining. The W, like I said, Scottsdale, you have the Fashion Square Mall over here and some more amazing dining. Mastro City Hall, one of my favorite spots, probably my number one spot in all of for a steakhouse for fine dining, right there in Mastro City Hall. Love it. Homemade whipped cream, butter cake. Oh, their butter cake is special. All right. So let's go over here, guys. Thank you for, again, that reminder, Richard, on the map not showing. Now, this is interesting. Speaking of Scottsdale, they adopted an ordinance prohibiting natural grass in the front yards of new homes. Now, most of you guys, if you're not from Arizona, probably didn't know that was even an option anyways, or if anyone even did that. I, for one, have natural grass in my front yard. Not all of it, just a little bit. It's kind of a nice touch of the greenery there. But, sometimes it is kind of a pain in the butt because you have to overseed. And we can have a whole other conversation about agronomy with grass in Arizona. It's interesting, right? It's not like the Midwest where I'm from, where in Omaha, Nebraska, where it just grows all the time unless it's snowing, right? So there's a picture of some grass right there, some nice, beautiful looking grass. City of Scottsdale is taking another step towards big steps towards conserving more water for the city's future. The council approved an ordinance prohibiting natural grass in front of new homes. This ordinance will apply to homes constructed after August 15th, 2023. Okay. It was passed unanimously. So now here's the thing. You can put in artificial turf, right? So it looks green, looks nice, and there's no maintenance. If I had to do it over again, I probably would do artificial turf anyway. Honestly, guys, I do have a little bit of grass in the backyard too, and some turf. But the grass is nice to play on with the kids and that kind of stuff. So I don't mind that. I like that, and that's a pain in the butt, but I'll deal with that. But the front yard, I would probably do artificial grass anyways. And so this is probably a smart thing to do in the effort to try to conserve some water. You still get the green looking aspect. And in Arizona, at least most neighborhoods in Arizona, there's not a whole lot of kids playing in the front yards. There's some exceptions that I know. If you're in Arcadia, don't shoot me. That's a special place where front yards are utilized quite a bit with the irrigation that they have in the front yards, irrigated lots. But that's a little different. So anyways, thought I'd let you guys know about that. I thought that was interesting. Okay, now speaking of water, we're going to parlay this. We're not going to go deep on water today, but water is always going to be a part of the conversation. As you know, there is no threat anytime soon, unless you consider within 100 years a threat of water being an issue anywhere in the Phoenix area at this time. Okay, in the greater Phoenix area. Okay, so and just go back and look at our other YouTube lives and videos I've done on that for that information. But this is interesting. There's a 27-year-old in charge of all of the water negotiations for the state of California, and this is this gentleman right here, J.R. Hamby. Okay, he's a top water negotiator. And what this article goes to talk about is California's quest to, in the Imperial Valley specifically, where a lot of crops are grown, to maintain their contractual rights to a certain amount of water that was voted upon in 1922. So anyways, guys, here's the deal. Imperial Valley needs a lot of water because they have crops. So they need a bunch of water, no question. How that's divvied up, obviously, is way above my pay grade. But they did come to a consensus here with the lower basin states of Nevada, Arizona, and California agreeing on a consensus over the next 3 years to cut 10% of their water supply they currently use. That's good. But they talked about this guy, and what he's doing to negotiate, obviously, the water rights and keep the water coming to California at a certain clip. So they've done a good job of that. He has, at least. He didn't budge, and they're pretty powerful. So, and he's in charge. Crazy, right? 27 years old. So interesting, I thought. Okay, now this is interesting. We're going to switch gears a little bit from water to the Great Migration. Now, this is kind of Arizona is a big factor of a big benefactor of the Great Migration that occurred during COVID and after COVID. But they're saying it's not exactly happening the same way anymore, but it's still happening. Now, the question becomes what they talk about here is the largest buying segment of population in the United States right now, currently, millennials. And millennials are heading towards the Sun Belt as well for the most part, but not always. What they found in this article, guys, is that the majority of millennials actually are moving to out of places like LA, Chicago, and New York City. And they're actually going to the Sun Belt and other places, though, that are not necessarily in the Sun Belt. Columbus, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio had an influx of population growth here, actually, believe it or not. Places like that aren't in the Sun Belt, but they aren't major metropolitan areas because they have the ability to work in the office a little bit, work out of the office, whatever it may be. And they're the largest home buying contingent. Now, I think this article, and I'll share my screen here in a second. Yep, I'm going to share it again here. I'm going to show you this, guys. This is pretty cool. Top markets for home, speaking of where the migration is going, okay? Now, if it was true that everyone was going south, there'd be all southern cities in this study here by Realtor.com, but it's not. So we're going to click on this slideshow, and you can see thumbnails. The number one, this is in the south, El Paso, Texas, guys, in 2023 for a housing forecast. Can you believe that? El Paso, Texas. I never would have thunk, right? Columbia, South Carolina. Hartford, Connecticut, number 3. Number 4, Buffalo, New York. Augusta, Georgia, number 5. Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay, number 6. Louisville, Kentucky. Baltimore, Maryland. Omaha, Nebraska, my hometown. Get a shout out to Omaha. There you go, number 9. And then, of course, number 10 is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And then thumbnails, you can see the whole thing. But you have, Cleveland at number 20-something here. And then you have Albany, New York, which is some market. Winston-Salem. The really only major market you have here, guys, is Dallas-Fort Worth, I believe. Pittsburgh's pretty big, right? But they're not in the South, which is interesting for the most part. So I thought it was interesting to show you guys this because it's kind of bunks the myth a little bit. And the reason why is because while baby boomers are all headed to the Sun Belt, the millennials, who are responsible for the biggest segment right now in buying homes, are doing the same, but also kind of spreading the love all across the country. But the one thing that is for certain is they're moving out of the big hustle and bustle corporate type downtown cities, San Francisco, LA, New York City, Chicago. So interesting food for thought, I thought. Okay. Running at altitude. Thanks for joining us again. I appreciate it. Really appreciate the support. Housing is so cheap in Texas compared to Arizona. Yeah, this is true. This is true, especially those submarkets in Texas, right? And man, like places like Dallas, the DFW area are just exploding, and there's so much land. They just keep going, right? And they can keep housing for pretty affordable. So did you guys know? Fun fact: This was a couple years ago, so it could have changed a little bit. But did you know that only 19% of all the land in Arizona is privately owned as of a couple years ago? It could be even less now at this point, or maybe a little more. It depends, right? The state could have sold off some of the land, which they have. So maybe 20, 21% now at this point. But that's pretty crazy, right? Whereas I think most states, a majority of the land is privately owned, right? So that is a fun fact. Richard, millennials not worried about crime, I guess. El Paso and Baltimore. You know what's funny, Richard? I had a conversation with an agent in Texas, in Dallas, actually, this morning. Good friend of mine, and actually, he was talking about El Paso. That was about booming El Paso, and I'm like, no, the market can't be that great in El Paso. And then here, I literally a couple hours later, I read this article, and El Paso is number one. I don't understand it, but again, a lot of it's because of the cost. It's so cheap, but you got the crime, you got the cartel, the drug, and I wouldn't do it, but there it is. A lot of people apparently are. And here's what I bet it is, Richard. I bet it's a lot of people that are also live locally in the region, right? In Texas already, maybe New Mexico. And they're just going from maybe being rural or maybe being in a big city and they can't afford it or don't want it. And they're going to go to El Paso, even though maybe it's not the safest place because it's cheap. And they get a bigger house for less money and they still have some job opportunities. So that's my guess. But Baltimore, yeah, I don't know that one. The weather's not great. And, there's a decent amount of crime. So, okay, let me share my screen. I'm going to wrap this up here, guys, in just a minute here. We always like to support local. You guys know we do. You see it by our coffee shops that we go to. We and frequent that we try to bring coffee, the KCI Kelly Coffee Index rating to you. But here we go. Yelp has rated their top 10 Arizona businesses, America's favorite mom and pop shops, i.e. local. Here you go. This guy right here is the original breakfast house in Phoenix. Really good. Really, really good. I'm glad they made the list. I don't know the owner, but there he is. And then here you go. There's the top 10 right here. So if you want to support local, here's some good businesses locally in Arizona that you could potentially support if it's something you are looking to do. Bear Arizona Waxing. So if you want to get waxed, there you go in Scottsdale. All right. Blue Buddha Collective. Coffee Tea Yoga. Okay, in Scottsdale. Dose Crisp Bakery and Charcuterie Company in Phoenix. Elevated Tap Room in Phoenix for some craft beer. Horseshoe Bend Slot Canyon Tour Company in Page. That's way north, Arizona. Okay. Martin Auto Museum and Event Center in Glendale. All right. So venues and event spaces. The Motor Lodge in Prescott. Nova Patel Flower Lab in Phoenix. The Original Breakfast House in Phoenix. This is awesome. Pink Plumbing and Sewer. If you want some plumbing, water heater installations, etc., Pink Plumbing and Sewer is your place to be in Phoenix, guys. So that's pretty cool, right? T, what's going on, Turin? Cartel, no, thank you. Yes, you guys are onto something there. You're not talking about coffee cartel. You're talking about the cartel in Mexico, right? That comes across the border once in a while, right? Yeah, I'm good. So running altitude. Here we go. Flew in the past weekend and looked at some homes. It was 118 on Saturday and almost passed out. Oh, you came in one of the hottest places or hottest times of the year. I'm so sorry. Oh, but come on back. Did you leave? Did you buy something? Did you go back? Love to know your thoughts. You can DM me, comment below, or comment right here, and I'd love to know how your experience was and what came out of it. All right. Last but not least, okay, we have this article right here. This is the craze, guys. You've heard me talk about it. Pickleball in Chandler. Chandler-based Pickleball Kingdom creating a reality TV show around the popular sport, guys. So calling all people who want to maybe be on TV here in your local, or maybe you want to fly in, like Running Altitude did. And it's indoor, guys. You don't have to worry about the 118. It's indoor, it's air conditioned, although you'll probably still get a good sweat going on. This guy is the owner, Mike Rodriguez, and pickleball is the craze, guys. I love pickleball. I'm a tennis guy, but I love pickleball too. It's just easier, and you don't have to. I don't know. It's just easier, right? And it's fun. It's a blast. With more people around the world picking up paddles and playing the very trendy sport pickleball, a company Chandler wants to create a reality TV show around the game. This is awesome. I might try to apply. I'm just saying. I don't know. So viewers can expect awe-inspiring displays of athleticism, gripping rivalries, and emotional triumphs, all set against the backdrop of a pickleball craze that has swept throughout the world. Does that sound intriguing, like reality TV, or what? That is awesome. So 8 male and 8 female contestants and you're going to go at it in reality TV and play some pickleball if the networks pick it up. I guess they have two networks looking at right now. So we'll see. While distribution of the show is still being worked out, Pickleball Kingdom in Chandler Productions, which is the TV arm, said the show is expected to air in late fall of 2023. So, guys, there's your spot. There's your chance, right? If you like pickleball and you want to be on TV, you always want to be like, one of those housewives or whatever, right, on TV. There you go. There you go. So, all right, I figured that would be a nice little plug for somebody who wants to do a little acting, right? All right, guys. Thank you as always. Hope you guys got some benefit out of this. Hopefully, you got my prediction for 2023. Let me know. Comment below. Do you agree? Do you think I'm crazy, or do you agree? Do you not agree? Let's get the conversation going and see if we all can come up with a viable reason and data behind why I'm right or I'm wrong. I'd love to know what you guys think, guys. But thank you so much for commenting if you're watching live. And thank you for commenting if you're watching the replay. Either way, guys. And we'll see you here shortly. Summer is almost over for at least the kiddos going back to school. So we'll definitely be on an even more regular schedule for more Everything Phoenix and answer all your questions and be available for all that, guys. So until next time, stay cool and classy, Phoenix.